I'm back at you. I'm back at you. Mombasa, Kutupa, and Yadena, Mombasa, and Kutupa, and Chaco.
My name is Alli Oseni, born and bred from Lagos, Nigeria. I'm currently a building official in the county of Montgomery in Maryland. What profession have I been working in? Started in 1978 when I came in for my studies in construction. I graduated in construction. I did my master's degree in construction. And currently I'm a building official in the county of Montgomery County, Maryland. And I've been in the construction industry been on the field since 1984. Nature is what we live with. We have not learned to control nature. The only way we can control nature is by getting ready to prepare for nature. In that respect, what I mean is that we cannot control what comes down from heaven, which is rain. We cannot control the sun, but when this thing comes down, we feel hot. We want to have an air conditioner to cool off or a fan. And when the rain falls, we need the water coming from heaven needs to find where it's going. This has naturally been created. Unfortunately, I grew up in Lagos. The population explosion in Lagos has increased over the years, right from the colonial period to the present day, whereby many of the plannings that were implemented prior to independence have been so obsolete and has not been totally maintained. There is no coastline area in any continent in the world without some form of drainage. There's a whole lot of drainage issues that has happened naturally in Nigeria, and you can see the fact that the outcome of it is what we have today. When it rains, going to the Delta area, they have what we call floodplains. In this country, United States, when you have floodplains, there are levels of floods that they've calculated over the years that you can say, okay, in this area, the flood is going to occur at a certain time of the year or whatever, but they've made it whereby it's part of the law. If you're going to build anything in that zone that is being designated as floodplain, drainage area, you are required to elevate your building above the level of the flood, which has been calculated. A good typical example would be Katrina hurricane that happened. New Orleans is virtually lower at sea level, but because of careful planning and everything, they were able to live through that. But because of the breakage of the levee during the Katrina, it causes New Orleans to flood. How does that relate to Lagos? I grew up in Lagos in the 60s. There are drainage paths that come from the northern part of the Lagos down to the coast. Northern part of Lagos are area from Mushin, Oshodi, Agege, all those areas. The tributaries and the canals and everything radiate from those and goes through Mushin, Dioro, Ojuelegba, some other areas like that, Idiaraba, all the way into Eric Moore, Ishel Club, back to the ocean. Now, over the years, they've built in these areas that constitute the floodplain. The National Theatre was built in a swamp that was drained out to build the National Theatre. Now, all other things in that area as what's going on now, since they did that, we've never gone back to maintain all this drainage, and our people have the mentality that we are selfish in the sense that it's only me. So what happens to the next, they don't care. So they end up dumping trash, anything onto the drain, thinking that it's going to flow. Now, the water has been blocked up by all this trash, and as such, the water backs up. Water finds its level, and the next thing you know is water is all over the houses, all over the roads and everything. That's the whole problem. We have a mental attitude that needs to change. We human beings in Lagos, we are the 100% contributor to the drainage of what happens in Lagos. For example, I went to Batchfreeman High School. Batchfreeman High School, when it was created in the late 50s, early 60s, was virtually swamp. There's only a certain area of it that were dried. When we were in school in the early 70s, our field was always flooded. Lekki, that is flooded now, is just a river line, is a water line area. Lekki water level is virtually 12 inches below ground. Proper draining needs to be put in Lekki. All the sand filling they're doing, they need to rechannel the water properly so it won't flood the houses. Now, you're building houses, calling it $50 million house, $100 million house, but here you are now, you don't have insurance for all the damages that is happening on your property. Everything is being thrown out. So we need to rethink our environment. That's where we live. We're not rethinking about it. And in that respect, we're going to be going through this every year. One of the pastors, or a known pastor, said, oh, he saw a vision that, oh, water is going to blow up, Ogunpa is going to do this. Ebenezer Obey sang about Ogunpa. Which trouble are we actually facing here is the fact that we have compromised our integrity. As human beings, we are selfish. The local government level, they are selfish. It's myself. We don't have respect for ourselves. The state government are selfish. As much as we're saying we need to do this, the people are the main function of every facet of a society at both local, state, and federal. When we compromise our integrity, that what's it in it for me all the time, nothing is going to get done. We're going to be like this for the next 100 years, and we're not going to find a way out of the wilderness. The Israelites people, when they left Egypt, they wandered in the wilderness for over 40 years before they found where they're going. Nigeria is going to wander in wilderness for the next 100 years if you don't sit up now and straighten things up and determine that we need to respect each other and respect the law of the land to make things work for us. The kind of advice I'll give the people in Lagos State, and Governor Fashola, who was my junior when I was in school, because he went to Bathroom and I went to Bathroom and I was a senior, is the fact that they need to come out with a comprehensive drainage plan for the entire Lagos State from Ogun State as the adjoining state. They need to come out with comprehensive natural drainage plan that's existing prior to human habitation of this area, which is already in record, which can be detected through satellite, and we have the money and the means to do it. And from there, start creating all the channels that have been blocked, that have been built upon, that is going to cause floods and everything, and then embark on serious public education of our people, that in each street there should be a public dump waste collection or anything in front of each house and everything, which was there before. And this thing should be picked up every day. We have the human resources, we can employ people to do that, and then anything that's recyclable, because of the current condition and the technology we have, they can recycle. Plastic is being recycled in America today. Anything plastic can be recycled, anything paper can be recycled, all those things can be recycled, all our waste can be recycled. There will be the opportunity to create a minimum, no less than a minimum of 10 to 20 year plan to effect this drainage control. That's how long I presume it will take. In that respect, when they have those things in place, and no successive government can overturn that. If we are part of the World Committee and we can go to World Bank and get money to do drainage, we should be accountable for that drainage. We should be accountable to reduce the suffering of our people, because if I buy a product today and put it in the hand and go, well, then I'm going to waste money to buy another one. Whereas I don't have to be wasting the money unless there's a natural catastrophe that I cannot control. What is happening now, they can be controlled. We have the same issue in Lagos as they have in other parts of the world. And these people have planned correctly to mitigate their circumstances and the respect of what's going on in their neighborhood. And as such, people live in flood zones with no hardship. What's the difference from that? Nigeria today has millions of professionals in both construction and engineering that are working in the first world that can come home and implement those things. But the selfishness of our people of what's in it for me is not helping us to develop. And the first thing of human is self-preservation. How can I preserve myself to be safe? We don't have that in Nigeria because we don't respect ourselves. If your house is built in a flood zone and drainage area that is not supposed to be built, yes, you need to be taken out, because you are impeding the flow of water. You're impeding the drainage where it's supposed to go. Until all those things are taken care of, remove the obstruction that is holding the water back, redredge the place, educate our people not to think of water is something that's going to move dirt or move that and start throwing stuff in there. All these combination factors have to come in place. A typical example, you build a house, you don't have a septic system or some kind of form of drainage to contain your water. You throw your surface water, gray water they call them, right back on the street. You're messing up the street that is already tarred or whatever. So in that respect, it causes more potholes. So our drainage sewer line needs to be controlled whereby it doesn't just go flow anywhere. We need to form a system. This is not Greek rocket science. It's already been established across the world. You form a system of channels to channel every wastage of water to a certain point, and from there it goes to a processing plant, especially in big cities. In places you don't have that, you have septic fields where this water go into the ground and repurify himself to become water in the water table 400-500 feet below ground. That's how this thing is being processed in developed world. Until we learn to do that, and there are certain portion of our society that have that. Awolowo Road have a treatment plant. First Stack Town have a treatment plant that were processing this thing before. And that's an example of what we need to incorporate into the entire system of Lagos State, because Lagos is an urban area. It's going to be a mega city. Yes, we say mega city, but you don't have the basic infrastructure to support a mega city. No drainage, no sewage line, no public access to many things. All those things constitute mega city, and we don't have it. No matter how much roads we build, as long as we don't get on that road and they're not going to the right place, it's going to destroy that road. The 6-12-lane carriage going to Badagry, if they're not careful, it's going to be destroyed because of water. Lekki is being built now. $1 million house, this and that. There's no master drainage plan for Lekki to remove water from each house to somewhere that is going to process and make the place dry. There's not. If the Victoria Garden City is processed and have an area that they collect their drainage, all other areas that were being developed were not. We build a house before we put the structure. That's the wrong way to do it. You need to put infrastructure in place to collect the water, the sewage, and everything out first before you start putting your building. That way you won't have the problem we're having now. And that's what happened in First Stack. They put all the drainage system in place, all the sewage line in place before they let people occupy the house they built for the First Stack people that came in 72. The advice I'll give to the people of Lagos State is this: we all have to bend down and follow the rules of the law. We'll have to enforce the law of the environment. In this respect, we have to educate ourselves that all our refuges and our trash has to be processed. It's not something we can dump in the water. Number two, the state government is responsible for providing infrastructure for the people. They need to go in and open up all the channels that are blocked, arrest people that are blocking these channels, punish them for it, and let it be a selfless act. Because as long as we have the attitude of what's in it for me, we're never going to succeed. And we're going to have the repeated issue all the time. When all these things are put in place, it'll work. Number three, many of the roads, they don't have drainage ponds. In many major cities across this world, there are what they call drainage ponds. In certain areas, water drain into this pond and then remove the water from the road. So you don't see water standing off the road. I have never seen or observed any single drainage pond in Lagos when I was there before I get out of the country, and up till now there is none, because everywhere you think you're going to do something is all human occupation. We need to control our human occupation. Lagos is the London of Nigeria. Everybody wants to be in London. In Lagos. And in this respect, we destroy the infrastructure. So when we don't take our time into the basic requirement of civil engineering to process what needs to be done for the benefit of us all, we're not going to succeed. But that's what we need to do to succeed. It's a basic, simple thing.